Welcome back to the Combo Cabal. I am your host, Bryant Cook, and today we're playing Mono Blue Mill and Pauper. But before we get to that, I would like to thank our sponsors, Metallic Dice Games. Level up your game with a dice set from Metallic Dice Games. They make high-quality dice and dice accessories in a variety of sizes, colors, and materials. Visit metallicdicegames.com to get yours today, and make sure to use promo code STORM10 at checkout. Once again, use that code at checkout. I would greatly appreciate it. But let's get back to the deck at hand. Mono Blue Mill, it's super sweet, and we have some cards that have been downshifted that are actually pretty important to the strategy, so let's cover those first. The first one is Jace's Phantasm, giving you a backup plan. Maybe your opponent's deck is too fast to mill them out the entire time. Or maybe you just need to shift gears. Jace's Phantasm is a 1-mana 5/5 that just bashes your opponent in. Pretty solid. So this is like really the key card here. We also have Gut Shot for a little bit of creature control in the sideboard. But for the main strategy here, we're a Jace's Erasure deck, which whenever you draw a card, target player mills 2. So an effect like Brainstorm ends up being incredibly valuable here. When reviewing other deck lists online, I noticed that they all just play 18 copies of Snow-Covered Island, and they rely on Thought Scour, Preordain, or 2 copies of Winds Rebuke. I actually added a third. I felt like this deck needed it. So I don't want to have to Thought Scour myself or preordain cards away. I'd rather just fix that with my mana base. So I'm running 2 Evolving Wilds and 4 Ash Barrens to give us some shuffle effects. I think will go a long way. Plus a little bit of incremental thinning never hurt anyone. So we have those going on. But the reason to run Snow-Covered Islands is actually this Iceberg Cancrix, I believe it's pronounced. And what happens is it's a 2-mana 0/4, essentially a wall. A crab, but it's a wall, and whenever another snow permanent enters the battlefield, target player mills 2. So snow permanent, so it does count our lands. It also counts other copies of this card. So you get a pseudo Hedron Crab effect here in Pauper, pretty good. But these are really our 2 engines, and then outside of that we have Mind Sculpt 2-mana mill 7, Home Scour 1-mana mill 5. Plus some other effects. I added in Broken Ambitions. This seems like the perfect card for this strategy. You get a Syncopate that mills for 4 if you win the Clash. Pretty powerful. Merfolk Secret Keeper was a big addition from Eldraine. I actually played a lot of Mono Blue Mill in that limited format. It's really the only time I've ever really grinded Arena or even Magic Online Limited. I just loved that format so much, and I would try to force Mono Blue Mill all the time. So pretty excited to be playing it here today. I mean, the plan here is to deck the opponent. I think it's pretty simple, but where we struggle is against red decks. So in the sideboard, we actually have 3 copies of Hydroblast and 3 blue Elemental Blast to slow down the opponent. I talked about Gut Shot for small creature decks like Fairies. We have Curfew for Bogles, only a singleton, we'd have to find it. But then 4 copies of sideboard Tolarian Terror. This is to support Jace's Phantasm with the Beatdown plan. Something that I added in. I wanted to try it out. It makes sense to me. But that's my short and sweet deck tech. I hope you enjoyed it. Now let's get in and mill some fools out. I'll see you in the first match. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, early access to videos, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, such as theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Time for the first match. We are on the play. Great hand. Keep. Let's get this thing going. Turn 1 Snow-Covered Island, and we're just going to preordain. You could save it for the Jace's Erasure, but I want to find my 3rd land. Another Jace's Erasure. I'm going to keep this, but it's super risky. I need to find land 3 in order for that to be a reasonable payoff. They play an island. So we're facing Mono Blue Fairies. There's land 3, play the Erasure, pass the turn. Land number 2. Another Fairy Miscreant. Okay, so they're giving us a window here to resolve the second Jace's Erasure. Pretty big fan of that. Ouch. Okay, well, they would need to not have a Force Spike or a Spell Pierce, but they don't have... Ooh, they're putting the Moon Circuit in. So now my second copy of Jace's Erasure is definitely resolving. But you have to play around Spell Pierce and Force Spike as well. That won't be a concern for us here, thankfully. Draw. Save targets. At them. Auto yield. Yes. So I could play the Iceberg here instead of the second copy of Jace's Erasure. Stops the Moon Circuit. I think I'm supposed to. Play the land, save targets at them, auto yield. Yes. Scour you. And they did have a Force Spike in their deck. Pass the turn. Alright, they play land number 3. We do know that they have a Fairy Miscreant. They snap my Iceberg. Okay, so now they attack for 3, and I'll go to 15 life. Ninja the Deep Hours. Okay. So they'll draw 2 here, going to 40 cards in deck, and that will bring them to 33% of the way through their library. I'll be completely honest with you. I could have swore Jace's Erasure was target player mills 2 cards and not 1. I'm a lot lower on this card now. I probably shouldn't admit that while recording, but I could have swore that it was 2 cards. Let's try the Iceberg again. Play this. This mills 2. Yes. I'm gonna try this Mind Sculpt while they only have 1 mana open. They have the Force Spike? Yeah. That's a bummer. Decided to take the risk, didn't pan out. They still have 7 in hand. Fairy Seer. And now they're attacking. We get to block. Mutagenic Growth. Yep. Wasn't expecting that. I mean, I've seen it in lists before. I just wasn't expecting it there. I don't know what to say. Like, I've seen it in decks. It's not uncommon. Well, this particular version of the card is in fact an uncommon, but it's not out of the norm. Another Fairy Seer. I don't believe I'm going to win this one in time. They have 6 damage on the board and I'm at 12. Yes. I mean, I'm just asking to get Force Spiked again, but I'm hoping that they counterspell this instead. Mind Sculpt. I'm actually not impressed by this card at all. I don't think that this should be in the deck, if I'm being honest. We're going to concede there. They got that game. For 2 mana, how many cards is this expected to mill? Like maybe 5? I think that there's just better cards we could be playing. Maybe my opinion will change throughout the course of this league. Let's take out the Jace's Phantasm. We're never going to be able to beat them down. They have too many flying 1/1 blockers. It's just not a realistic plan, so we're going to try to control the game instead. And that's all we need to do here. Game 2 versus Mono Blue Fairies. Unfortunately, cannot keep that. Sure. Keep. Bottom an island. Okay, let's send this card on an adventure. Target them. And they will mill 4. Spellstutter and Double Snap. Nice. Delver. Can I find Gutshot? Let's cast Brainstorm. No Gutshots here, but I did find this Windsor Rebuke. I think we're supposed to get rid of a Preordain here. And just cycle the Ash Barrens. Grab an island, pass. Their Delver does not flip. Not a very well-trained Delver Secrets. They'll get in. 19 life, and they're just passing. Let's play the Merfolk Secret Keeper. I believe we should just pass the turn here. Delver of Secrets. Does not flip. Land number 3. You can have a Fairy Miscreant. I'm going to attempt to Windsor Rebuke this Delver Secret, see if they counter. I could try to bounce my own Merfolk Secret Keeper, but then if they counter it on the way back down, it's a little bit awkward. Ooh, and I get punished here for not responding to the Fairy Miscreant. Okay, that's my own fault. Draw. Let's Mind Sculpt them for 7. Preordain. I think I want to keep the Iceberg. Pass the turn. Delver's Secrets. Once again, does not flip. Not a trained Delver. They'll attack for 2 in the air. I'll take it. We go to 17 line. Ninja the Deep Hours. It's a good one. So now they have a Spellstutter Sprite back in their hand and ready to counter things. Draw for turn. That's a bummer. I think we just have to draw out the Spellstutter, so let's play the Brainstorm. That resolves. Okay, we can trick them here. Put back the 2 copies of Ash Barrens. Actually, hold on. Doesn't really matter. I guess if I keep 1 Ash Barrens, I can thin with it. So this is kind of a cool play. They're going to try to Spellstutter this, and we're going to kill their Fairy Miscreant in response. So now this Spellstutter will not effectively counter the Iceberg. We can play our land, go search up another island in the mill too. Save targets at them. Okay, yes. Pass the turn. The problem is they have 35 cards in deck and I'm already out of a hand. Of 1 mind, yep. They're swinging out. Block, block, take 1. They have double mutagenic growth in hand? That's a bummer. Or they have gut shot. They must have gut shot then. No? They just wasted a mutagenic growth? Yeah, they must have misread there. Upkeep will cycle this Ash Baron's thinner deck of an island. Draw for turn. Make them mill. I am not impressed by Jace's Erasure. This is my least favorite card in the deck. Had I read this correctly, I would have cut it. And they counterspell the Jace's Erasure. Sure, that card stinks. I've already thought about what I want to replace with it. But we'll get to that later. Another Fairies here. They play another of 1 mind. Yeah. They attack with the Spellstutter. I can't block it. And they have the other ninja? Sure. They have 5 cards in hand. We're just so far behind at the moment. No point of playing the Brainstorm into the Spellstutter Sprite, so we'll just pass the turn. Delver of Secrets. Still has not flipped on turn 7. And another. Let's make some blocks. We'll take 2 here, going to 9 life. Another Moon Circuit hacker. Okay. I have 6 cards in hand now. Draw for turn. Brainstorm. See if this resolves. And it does. They actually don't have any fairies in play, so we can play the Iceberg as a blocker. I am just dead if Delver Secrets flips. But I don't think that's a luxury I have playing around. So we'll play the Iceberg. They'll mill 2. Pass the turn. No point in playing the Gut Shot when I know that our opponent has a Spell Stutter. Does not flip again. We play land number 6. Faeries here. Okay, so let's make the blocks. I mean, should I just let the ninjas through? Probably not, because I'm so low on life. It's interesting because it's allowing them to draw cards, right? Which is good and bad at the same time. We don't want them to have cards in hand, but we want them to have a smaller deck. 2 damage there. Draw for turn. Just have to pass. We know that they have a spell stutter, so we can't do much about that. And Delver finally flips and we're dead. Okay, so that was a tough match, but at least I learned something about the deck here, which is a positive thing. The opponent reveals their hand. Cool story. Let's go on to match number 2, see if we can get that one. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Match number 2, we're on the draw. I will keep this hand. Let's go. Affinity, okay. Broken Ambitions. I think we just want to start by milling them for 4. Target them. And let's pass. I'm just so over this Jace's Erasure. Part of me was like, should I just drop and re-record? Like, this card is just so bad. I'm sorry. I know that it's in every single Pauper Mill list, but why? Why? Blaze Fiend, wow. That's certainly one that kills us pretty quickly here. Okay. This is not a card you see very often, so a little surprised by this. Should I cycle in my upkeep? I think the answer is no. I could play this Jace's Erasure, but why? It's going to mill 1 card. So I think instead we hold open Broken Ambitions and just pass the turn. Your creature is huge! Let's counterspell that. I doubt we're ever going to win the Clash versus Affinity, but you never know. I guess they could reveal a land, but most of our deck is 1s and 2s, so it's just not very probable. Mirror Enforcer versus Jace's Erasure. I'm going to put that Jace's Erasure right on the bottom of the deck where it belongs. Okay. Take a draw here. Winds of Rebuke. Play the Merfolk. Pass the turn. Their Fiend gets a little bit larger with that land drop. They now have 5 artifacts, so the Mirror Enforcer would cost 2. I don't even know what this one is. Let's read it together. When it enters the battlefield, put 3+1/+1 counters on up to 1 target non-creature artifact. That artifact becomes a 0/0 homunculus artifact creature with flying. Sure thing. Ah, so it's an indestructible 3/3 flyer. That's cute. Okay. Let's Windsor Rebuke this. Oh, it's non-land permanent. That's annoying. Yeah, that's super annoying. What to do here? Bounce the Glaze Fiend, I guess. And I'll take 3. Draw for turn. Another Windsor Rebuke. Am I supposed to hold this Evolving Wilds? Play the Jace's Erasure. I know 2 of the 4 cards in their hand, so I think I want to play out the Jace's Phantasm this turn. And I will play out the Evolving Wilds, so that way my Broken Ambitions can counter more things. Pass the turn. This is actually, like, pretty cool. I've never seen this. This is a really sweet interaction. Block with my 0/4 that I do not care about. They kill my Jace's Phantasm. I knew that was a risk when I played it, but also they had already used 2. So I decided to not play around the 2 remaining, which is, you know, my own fault or whatever. Sort of a bummer. Draw. Of course, I drew the Iceberg after I played the land. It's just how Magic works. Play the Iceberg. Pass the turn. The Windsor Rebuke not hitting the indestructible artifact land right now is pretty brutal. That's a Deadly Dispute. Blaze Fiend becomes a 4/5, and now a 6/7. I'm almost dead here. Yep. They have 2 cards in hand. I'm going to attempt to Windsor Rebuke the Glaze Fiend. They have Metallic Rebuke. Yep. Just getting smushed. Can't block. Uh-oh. Draw. That's going to do it. We didn't even get them halfway through. Concede. That was just rough. Real brutal. I think the problem is that Jace's Erasure, for being 2 mana, you're only expected to mill 4 or 5 cards. It's just not on par with the rest of the deck. I'm not a fan. And I don't know if you're actually even supposed to sideboard here. Guess you could board in some blasts? Because they're likely going to bring in Red Elemental Blast, and they have Galvanic Blast already in their deck. Let's get this garbage card out of here. Let's try this. But also maybe try boarding in the Tolarian Terrors. Can I board fast enough? Here are the Brainstorms because they require setup. Try this. So I'm thinking, like, Brainstorm's obviously a really powerful card, right? But this is a matchup where I don't have the luxury of taking multiple turns to craft my plan. So if that's going to be the case, something like Brainstorm ends up being slightly less effective. Game 2 versus Affinity. Pretty good hand. We'll try it out. Turn 1, Preordain. Keep the Mind Sculpt. Pass the turn. Great Furnace. Chromatic Star. Draw for turn. Phantasm's a good one. Let's Mind Sculpt them for 7. Pass. Okay. Yes, use that star. Beautiful. So this puts the 8 cards in their graveyard. I can Thought Scour them, and then they'll have 10, and I can play this Jace's Phantasm as a 5/5. Scour you. Play the Phantasm. Pass the turn. We have Hydroblast to protect it. Attempt to Hydro. They have 4 cards in hand. Spell Pierce, it's brutal. Okay, you got me. 3 cards remain. Play this Tolarian Terror. Might as well cycle this Ash Barrens. It's fine. Pass. They have 4 in hand. Ooh, so now they have the indestructible land again. This is a real problem. Our deck list doesn't have Winter's Rest, and it's showing. This was a good draw. Attack with the Terror. Play the Phantasm. And play this. Let's go! 5/5 beaters. Seat. Mirror Enforcer. Draw. Play a Preordain. Put it on top. Put it on top. Milieu. Get in there. The beatdown plan so far has felt like the best thing about this deck. They're moving to blocks. We will kill the Mirror Enforcer. And they'll take 10 down to 5. Play a 3rd copy of Jace's Phantasm. I guess you could argue that the way I sequenced my turn was a mistake. So the reason why you could say that is, we know that our opponent plays Metallic Rebuke, and I played myself into it being potentially countered with this Jace's Phantasm. I likely should have left Thought Scour on top of the deck and played the Jace's Phantasm. That would have been a slightly better line. They play a Chromatic Star. They make a red and draw a card. They pick it up, so we are going to game number 3. Hit that submit button. Game 3, this looks like a reasonable hand. I'll try this out. Great Furnace, and they pass. We can just pass the turn here. Seat. Picker Wellspring. Cycle this Ash Barrens. Grab an island. You have a Wellspring. Draw for turn, land. Let's try playing the Iceberg here. There's a chance it dies, but I need to take the opportunity to get it in play. Because if I can untap with it, we're in really good shape. Okay, land number 4, Thoughtcast. 2 open mana. And we get to untap. How about that? So we'll play this snow-covered land. They will mill 2. Yes. I think I'm just going to pass the turn here. I could play the Preordain. I want to hold open my mana for this Broken Ambitions. Deadly Dispute. Let's counter this. We reveal the 1. Let's put that on the bottom. Thought Scour you. Chainer's Edict, huh? That's a little surprising. Land. They have 6 cards. They play Chromatic Star. Blood Fountain. 4 cards left. Iceberg. Yes. Play a land, now they mill 4. Yes. Yes. Question is, do I play the Jace's Phantasm? They thought really hard here about Pyroblast, so I could try to set up like a Winter Rebuke sort of thing, where I protect it. Let's Mind Sculpt them. This will bring them down to 30 cards. And here's the Pyroblast. I mean, I did think that they had it, and they just showed us that they did. 3 cards left in hand. They do have a Chromatic Star, plus a Blood Fountain, so they can return 2 creatures with this Blood Fountain. Pretty good against the mill strategy. They're going to pay 4 mana for the Blood Fountain. Okay. Mere Enforcer. They pass. Draw. Broken Ambitions. Let's play Preordain. Top. Phantasm. Pass the turn. Yep. That darn indestructible land. Too powerful. They play another land. They have 3 cards. Okay, so we drew the Ashburns that we knew was there. We'll cycle, thin our deck. Mill them for 4. I cannot bounce the indestructible land. I have to remember that. I think I attack here and they'll take 5, which is fine. Pass the turn. So here I can bounce my creature with Winds of Rebuke, and we'll each mill 2. I guess I could have countered it with Broken Ambitions. I was too focused on the Winds of Rebuke play. I'm not sure if I should have just used the Broken Ambitions. Maybe I should have, because I don't know if I'll have another opportunity to really make use. I'll take 4. 16 life. Deadly Dispute, you've got it. Chainer's Edict. I think we just sacrifice these now. Like, we're not going to draw too many more lands, or I hope we won't. We are getting to the point, though, where they could start flashing back Chainer's Edicts from the graveyard. Maybe this Broken Ambitions will come up after all. Draw for turn. I said I wasn't going to draw too many more lands, and I got my face. Milled another Pyroblast, though. Big fan of that. No point in attacking here when they have an indestructible flying blocker. We'll just pass the turn. Interesting. I'm going to double block. Let's see what they're up to here. Makeshift Munitions! I can counter it unless they pay 4. I believe they can kill one of my Phantasms, though. They just had the Metallic Rebuke. Yeah, I'm done. They got me here. Even if this card didn't say please, we would have still lost the Rebuke. Yep. They have 20 cards. I would need to have like triple runner in a row to win this, I think. Like 3 Mind Sculpt in a row. Too late on the Hydro. Do I just pass here? I think I do. Chromatic Star. Yeah, that thing is brutal. Like, this combo is really, really powerful. Yeah, no blocks, I go to 10. I guess this munitions, like, represents lethal. I should probably try to kill it. So I'm at 9. Draw. Okay, we have a 5/5. Pass the turn. Mere Enforcer. Can't block him at 3. There's no outs here. Draw. And another Terror. Okay, so we got our opponent down to 17 cards in deck, but it just wasn't good enough. The beatdown plan, it just came up short in game 3, unfortunately. So now we're 0-2. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Slight correction from match number 2. For some reason, I wasn't thinking when I put in the result from match number 1. We were not 1-0, we were 0-1, and now we are 0-2 heading into the third match. We're on the play. This seems reasonable enough. Keep. Let's start off with this island, and target player mills 4. Fairies again. Lame. Draw. I think I just want to play the iceberg here. Pass the turn. They just pass back. Just gonna play this Merfolk Secret Keeper. And here I'm punished a little bit for having an Ash Barrens in my deck because I can't play anything else after. Spell Stutter Sprite. They get in, we can't block. I imagine they have a Ninjutsu creature. And they do. Draw. Not an island. Uncomfortable. I guess we could try to force through the Mind Sculpt, but it just gets countered by a number of things here. Like Counterspell, yep. So, being a deck that has Jace's Erasure in it makes you want to play Brainstorm, and Brainstorm makes you want to play Ash Baron. So if you cut the Jace's Erasure, you don't need to play Brainstorm, and then you could just have all islands. So we'd actually be in a much better spot here. But instead, I'm sort of just stuck with my hand. You might be saying, Bryant, you're the one who added Ash Barrens to this deck, and you would be correct. I'm not going to argue that. But playing Brainstorm without a way to shuffle is just like kind of terrible, and I'm not planning on using my own Thought Scours on myself. Take one again. 17 life. Draw. Oh my. Maybe just pass the turn. I've been iced. So they are blue-red. Our previous opponent was mono-blue. Regardless, it's all the same deck. I don't care what anyone says. You could be Izzet, Dimir, mono-blue. You are playing the same deck. You just have a different removal suite. And I hate this deck. It's super lame. Yikes. Still no land. Surprise, surprise. Pass the turn. They play a Brainstorm. I guess one thing to note is when you're a blue deck, at least mono blue, you don't have a good answer for Spell Stutter Sprite. Outside of like hard counters. Draw for turn. A little too late, but can't do much about it now. Attempt to mill them with the Secret Keeper. And I don't know, should I play the Secret Keeper? Yeah, why not? Sure. Preordained. They have 31 cards left in deck. Can't block those. We'll go to 12. Another Augur of Bolas. Picking up a Dispel. Draw. From Scour you. That resolved. From Scour you. Your spells. Ooh, counterspell. Okay. We're unable to fight back with these broken ambitions because of this Ash Barrens. So this land has set us back this entire game. We just have to block. Take 3 down to 9. Fairy Seer. Yep. Draw for turn. Another Merfolk Secret Keeper. Let's venture. And play it. Pass the turn. They lightning bolt me down to 6. It's Lightning Bolt 3 of 4. If they have the other one, we're dead. But even if they don't, they're telling me that I have to mill 18 cards in one turn, which is not realistic based on what we have. Sure, they're swinging out. They kill one of my blockers. Block, block. We'll take 4 down to 2. Draw for turn. We know that they have a Dispel. There's no reason to try to Broken Ambitions here. We're dead. Okay. Next game. That was rough. Let's get this Jace's Erasure out of here. Definitely want the gut shots. I think we actually want to take out the Phantasms as well. Bring in some of these blasts. I think Winds of Rebuke doesn't particularly go very well in this matchup, so let's get rid of that too. Let's try this out. Hydroblast coming in to hit Lightning Bolt, Scred, but primarily Red Elemental Blast, Pyroblast out of the opponent. Yes. No. I guess so. I don't think that this hand's particularly good. Play the island and Tome Scour targeting the opponent. Pass the turn. We see a Red Elemental Blast. The Red Monarch card. Play the Iceberg. Pass the turn. They cycle in Ash Barrens. Okay. They grab their snow-covered mountain. Rip. Upkeep, let's thin out an island. Draw for turn. Mind Sculpt. Yikes, just getting bullied. Pass the turn. Draw for turn. We will venture deeper, targeting them. Broken Ambitions, countering the Spell Stutter. They have a Fire Ice. I don't really want another land, so that can go on the bottom. This mills, pass. Preordain. They play their land. I'm going to try to Mind Sculpt them here. Thought Scour. Pass the turn. So their draw step brings them halfway through. The issue here is that I'm down to 1 card and my hand doesn't do a whole lot. And they now have the Monarch. Guess I'm supposed to try to kill this thing to stay alive. Pass. Sure. 2 cards in the opponent's hand. 3 after the Monarch trigger. Let's just pass the turn. I don't need to show them that I have an island in hand. Scred. Let's counterspell this. I want to keep my blocker around. I don't need them drawing 3 cards a turn. They have another Scred. Pretty good. Yeah, so now they draw a card for... Oh, they have another Ninja. Geez, so now they're drawing 4 cards a turn. Got shot. Not so great here. Pass. So we'll take 4 down to 14. They draw. Plan for turn. Brainstorm. So I'm going to kill the Spellstutter Sprite with the triggered ability on the stack, or at least attempt to kill it. And we get blown out of the water. Yep. You've got it. So I'm going to take 10 here. I'm sorry, I can't count 6 here. Counting's overrated. And I'm at 6, so I'm actually just dead, I believe. Or next turn I'm dead. Sorry, a little bit out of it right now. I'm just getting crushed so badly I'm losing focus. Draw for turn and concede. Yikes. This has been brutal. Alright. 0-3, 2 matches left. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. Game number 4, match number 4, whatever you'd like to call it. Run the play. Sure. I'm just going to play the Evolving Wilds past the turn. Well, Darren Epic here. Okay, so Burn. This is likely a tough matchup for us. We're a deck that's looking to play a long game, and they're just very, very aggressive. So I think if that's the case, we don't want to play this Jace's Erasure. Once again, this card just stinks. Okay, they're Kuldotha Red. Synthesizer. Manamorphose. Well, they certainly can't play that card this turn. Great Furnace. And Rebirth. Ouch. 18. Draw. Play the island. Scour you. Play the Phantasm. Preordain. Yes, I want this other Phantasm, thank you. Pass the turn. We're going to try to race the burn deck. Galvanic Blast. They should have attacked first to see if I would block. Plus Lava Dart. Okay. It's sort of free. I still think that they should have attacked to see if I would trade with the Goblin Token. Draw. Jace's Phantasm. I guess I'll play the Erasure here. I feel like it's a wasted effort. Like, should I just try to draw into another Phantasm instead? Rebuke is interesting. I think we keep these. Brainstorm. And I hit the Phantasm. Let's put Jace's Erasure on top and I can mill that away. Anything to get rid of that terrible card. Alright, I have 2 5/5s. Let's go! They're sacrificing the egg. They reveal Mountain. They don't swing, so they told me they don't have a removal spell. Let's Windsor Rebuke this Samurai. Are we actually going to race the red deck here? Is the mill deck? Let's go! Scour you. Scour you, I guess? I don't know. It's fine. I guess the real reason that I shouldn't do it is in case I milled another Lava Dart. I just thought of that. Lightning Bolt, I'm at 11. They have 4 damage on board. Then you would need 7 cards, 7 damage. They have a Lava Dart in Graveyard, so that's 6. So they have 3 cards in hand. They need to do 6 damage with 3 cards, which is very reasonable. We could just be dead here with Exact. Did they really just Lightning Bolt a Phantasm? They just missed Lethal! They just missed Exact Lethal. I don't know if it will matter, but they missed it. Preordain. So if I swing out, I'm actually dead. And I apparently tapped 2 mana for Preordain. Let's put this on the bottom. Let's draw the Preordain. Or draw the Brainstorm, I mean. See if I can Brainstorm into a Miracle, and I can't. So even though our opponent punted, it's not going to matter. So defeating. We almost came back. Okay. We have lost game number 1 to Kuldotha Red. We want these blue blasts. Take out the Jace's Erasures. Maybe shave a couple copy of Brainstorm and let's submit this. On the play for game number 2. Sure. Mill 5. So an interesting way to think about playing Mono Blue Mill is that you are essentially a burn deck, where your opponent's life total is the amount of cards left in their library. I think this deck needs to be built with that in mind. So you want less fluff in your deck, like Brainstorm or whatever, and you need to look at every card as this card is worth this many cards. And I think that would actually go a lot further. Synthesizer, I'm going to counter this. Can we win a clash for once? Kuldotha Rebirth wins a rebuke! Yes, we won a clash. Let's keep that on top. So we're being hit by the Swift Spear. We'll draw our card. Pass the turn. Gav Blast. I'm just going to wins this now. They've used their red source that we know that they have. They could have drawn a land for turn. If they do, they can replay it. But they don't. I'm going to sit on this Brainstorm for now, I think. All right, let's play it now. You can mill 7. Pass. I'm hoping that they play a creature, and then in my upkeep I can wins. They drew a mountain. Chain Lightning. So I'm going to go to 10 life here. They have a couple copies of Lava Dart in that graveyard. Bounce the Swift Spear. Draw. Drew a land anyway. Pass the turn. So I mentioned how the mill deck is essentially a burn deck. So we've played a number of spells here that have milled our opponent. They're at halfway through. So if you think of it, essentially all the spells that we've cast this game, we've dealt 10 damage. That's another way of looking at it. But in order to deal 10 damage, we had to play 1, 2, 3, 4 cards to deal 10. It may not be the best rate. That's all I'm trying to say here. We're going to counter this. Meanwhile, our opponent still has 5 cards in hand and we're at 10. So I feel like we sort of got the short end of the stick here. Draw for turn. Wins number 3. All right, I'm at 8. Sure. 7 life. I'm at 4. If you have a Fire Blast, I am dead. We know that they have at least 1 Lava Dart. 2 Lava Darts that I can see. Merfolk, let's venture. We mill the Fire Blast. That's kind of exciting. Pass. They have 4 cards in their passing. We'll Windsor Rebuke our Secret Keeper. We milled another Fire Blast. Okay. Venture deeper. Play the Secret Keeper. Thought Scour. Preordain. Keep. Keep. Am I allowed to untap again? Anamorphose. Nope, I'm dead. Okay. So we went a solid 0-4. I am not going to play the 5th round. I am sorry. I am not eligible for prizes, so I'm just going to drop. This is not a donation deck. I do not feel guilty about that. All right, so this deck obviously was not great. This is what I sort of came up with in between rounds to fix it. This is the list that we played today. Jace's Erasure, Evolving Wilds, Ash Barrens, a lot of cantrip. So I mentioned you want to be a burn deck, so to speak. Well, if that's the case, you don't want to spend time playing things like Preordain or Brainstorm. Instead, you sort of just want to play all of your spells on curve very quickly. And if that's the case, you want things like Memory Sluice, which is a card from Shadowmoor with Conspire, which means that you can copy it if you tap 2 blue creatures. So like 2 Merfolk Secret Keeper, so it's 1 mana, mill 8, for example, which is really, really powerful, and it's what we're looking to do. So on top of that, we add in the 4th copy of the Iceberg, which is what we want to do. Winter's Rest to control some creatures long term. It's also a snow permanent, so it triggers the Iceberg as well. I really like Stream of Thought because one blue mill for is, it's decent enough. I think that's actually better than Jace's Erasure, because Jace's Erasure is a 2-mana mill 5 at best. So here we're getting 1 mana mill for it. On top of that, you can shuffle additional copies of Mind Sculpt back into your deck, so you're more likely to be effective. And I think that's actually pretty nice. On top of that, it gives you some late game. So that way, when you're sitting there with 5 or 6 lands in play, this is once again a 1 mana or 1 card mill 8 cards, and that's really what we're looking for. So I added some cards in our deck that give us a little bit better of a long game, and they just hit harder, which is really what I think this deck is looking to do. You could cut Broken Ambition. Some people play Arcane Denial, but I'm not interested in allowing my opponent to draw 2 cards. Like, that's not worth it to me. I prefer the Broken Ambitions. If you want to cut it, that's fine. Didn't Say Please is another alternative you can play. I'm also open to other suggestions you may have. It could be something like Spell Pierce, but Spell Pierce doesn't help with the mill plan, so I'm not really married to that idea. But that's what I've got for now. If you have any thoughts, questions, suggestions, whatever, put those in the comment section down below. But thank you for watching. I know this was a tough one, and especially if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Have a great day. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.